And welcome to Tackle Aboard. Thank you for listening and subscribing. We appreciate it. My name is Chris Euksuzian. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Ebom, and my co-host Reese. You can find him at Vegas Line Reader on Twitter. How you doing today, Russ?
What's going on, man?
Good.
I'm excited, man. Got a lot of information for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. This is I can't believe it. A couple days away from the beginning of the NFL season. It's kind of doesn't feel like it's really here because with all the pandemic, with all the sports being held off and everything, we're getting our main sport back, the NFL, and it's amazing, and we can't wait. And we're ready to dive deep into Week 1, like a kid in the candy store. We can't wait to break down all these games for you, tell you our likes, what we want to stay away from, all that good stuff. So. Without further ado, let's get this party started.
Yep, and just letting people know, we're just going to go over the games. We're basically going to see which games we like, and there are going to be some games that we're actually not going to have any picks on, but we're just going to give you guys some information. You can bet on them yourselves, but we're not going to force any games. We're just going to pick the games that we do like, that we do have strong leans on, basically. So again, we'll go back and forth, and I'll let you start, Chris. We're going to go with the first game on Thursday night, the Texans at the Chiefs, -9. And this is basically, we're going to go off the lines off of DraftKings. We're going to go by those lines. So lines on other sports books should be pretty accurate if they are off by half a point or so. So who you got for the Texans and the Chiefs game?
Well, this is, the Super Bowl champions at home. That's a typical thing that we do on the NFL for the opening night. KC is pretty much the same team coming back for the most part, -9. It's a big spread. It's a big spread for a reason. They've dominated the Texans before. Last time they played, they won 51-31. The spread was 10. So I feel like this line can't be any higher for the most part. Texans, big loss without Hopkins. I don't know how they're going to replace that at all. They have Fuller, Cooks, and Cobb. They're all can be good wide receivers, but are they reliable? Probably not for the most part. And is David Johnson going to be able to take the workload that Hopkins had? I doubt that. He's a guy that's been banged up as well. So when I'm looking at this game, I see it being high scoring. The over-under is 54 points. And I could definitely see KC covering this game. Would I play this game? Probably not. But if I had to lean one way or another, I would say Kansas City, you're laying the 9 points.
Yeah, I'm actually with you. I'm actually not going to have a pick on this game. You got the Chiefs. I mean, high-powered offense, but I don't trust big spreads in the NFL. Games are usually always close. But the Texans are a team that I'm actually just trying to avoid all season. They're a team I don't like. Just a little tidbit, Mahomes, he's actually 24-12 against the spread in the 2 years he's been playing. So basically, like Tom Brady, he's probably just going to keep hitting 60% probably for his career against the spread. I'm not going to fade a stud like that, hitting at a high rate. And do I want to do it with the Texans at +9? I'm not trusting that defense at all to actually stop the Chiefs. So basically, that's just going to be a game that we are going to avoid. Just a little, some more information for everyone out there. Looks like the starting cornerback, Bashaud Breeland, is actually out for the Chiefs in that game. So if anybody wants to maybe mess with the over or something like that, seeing that the Chiefs have a little hole there at quarterback, can sprinkle a little money on that maybe. But that's a game that we're going to stay away from. We'll take a look. Go to the next game, Chris. What do you got for the next one?
The next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at Baltimore Ravens. The line is currently -8, and the over-under is 48.5. With this game, the Ravens have been the talk of the league last year. They were smashing teams left and right. They got kind of held to a stop against Tennessee last year during the playoffs. And Titans had the blueprint to stop them. Control the clock, run the ball, and play good defense. Make sure you have Lamar Jackson running side to side rather than, straight through the gut. Just to let him run wild. Have him scattering around for the most part. Last time they did play at Baltimore, Cleveland won 40-25, and the spread was -7.5 Baltimore. So that's something to consider. I know Russ has been talking about the Browns for the most part as a team to kind of watch out for. I don't have a lean on this game as well. It's just next on the board. If I had to take something, I would take Cleveland +8, but really just stay away from this game for the most part on my end. But Russ, what do you got for this?
Basically, again, you touched on it. I do love the Browns actually this season. They brought in a new coach, Kevin Stefanski. He's the offensive coordinator from the Vikings, and he's actually perfect for this team. He was with the Vikings. Cousins barely had any interceptions. I think he was like in the top 5 in QB rating. I think I saw it was 5th or 6th. And you saw the run game with Dalvin Cook last year. They were pretty much dominating teams. He runs basically like a zone scheme for his run game. And they picked up the 2 offensive tackles, Jedrick Wills Jr. they got in the draft, and the Pro Bowler Jack Conklin they got from the Titans. So again, another team that loves to run the ball. They got 2 tackles that they want to use. So I see there's going to be power football on both ends going on in this game. Nick Chubb, I see him having a huge season, and they're also going to be putting Baker Mayfield. He's going to get into more comfortable situations. They're trying to get him into more play action and bootleg. So if they are running the ball well, he's going to be able to get in these bootlegs. Stat for you, they were actually 4th in average yards gained at 4.8 yards a carry last year. But the problem was they were 19th in the amount of carries that they actually had. So that has to do with bad coaching from last year. They're actually going to bring in a smart coach, and you're going to give these guys 8 points. I'll take it. I mean, the Ravens, they're a powerhouse. I like their squad, but this is a division game. I see it being close. I saw Earl Thomas got kicked off the team a couple weeks ago, so I see some drama going on there. This is a game I actually like, so take the Browns +8. This is a good situation right here.
Yeah, you're right about Chubb there. I think he's going to be the key to this team. If this coach decides to make this team a run-first team as like a play-action team, like you said, I think it'll control the clock. I think it'll make Baker very comfortable. Chubb is going to determine how good this team really is. I know you got Odell and you got Landry. You got weapons on the outside, but it's going to come down to Chubb, the workhorse. And if he's able to run the ball effective 4 or 5 yards a carry, they're going to not only keep this game close, but they can win it outright, I feel like. I wouldn't be shocked if they did that.
That's what the good teams do. They finally realized they got to get a run game going. They can't just Baker was just back there going on 3rd and 10s. They were facing good defenses all year long. People are just going to be fooled by what they saw last year. This is going to be a completely different team. So I'm going to find situations this year where I do like the Browns. So again, do like the Browns in this game. What do you got for the next game, Chris? The Eagles at Washington?
Oh, yeah, we can go there. We can do Eagles at Washington. So the line is -6 Eagles. The over-under is 43. This game is pretty interesting. We just found out that Jason Peters has been officially going to be the left tackle of the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a good sign for them.
You finally got some good news for you. There you go.
I finally got some good news for the Eagles. And we were kind of given like the dark cloud of the Eagles, but finally Peters is going to play left tackle. There's no more BS about it. Deshaun Jackson hopefully is healthy enough to go. I think he is. I don't think he's had any setbacks. I mean, he's a hamstring away from being out of the game, but as far as his speed, when he does play, he's a huge weapon, and he's very difficult to guard. Zach Ertz, he says he's got new plays that he's going to be part of with the Eagles, so watch out for that. I don't know what that means, but maybe they got some tricks up their sleeve. I've always been a big fan of Carson Wentz. I feel like he is a guy that can pretty much put a team on his back, and he can be – the only thing is he does hold on the ball a little too long. But for this game against Washington, Chase Young's going to be a huge factor in this game coming off the edge. That's going to be very important. I know he's a rookie, but he's going to be very impactful this game. If I had to pick something for this game, I would probably lean towards, sad to say, probably Washington +6. I don't know how the Eagles are going to do, especially being on the road their first game, and with all this adjustments with the O-line, Diller being out, and then Brooks, of course, is a big deal. And then as far as their secondary goes, they cut LeBlanc, and then they re-signed him again. So it's like back and forth. I was like, why did you even cut him anyway? It was pretty good for him. But once again, not crazy about this game. Maybe even lean the under on this game on 43. So if I had to pick something in this game, I would probably take the under 43. Going to be a snooze fest for the most part, I feel like.
Yeah. I figured I couldn't get a like out of you yet, but we'll get one out of you soon. But I actually agree with you, too. This is a game. Eagles are a team who actually I don't like this year. This is a spot, though, I'm not going to be backing Washington. I don't even know what their name is, Redskins. I don't know if we could say that on the air. The Washington football team. I don't like these guys. The team's terrible. I'm not going to be taking any of the bottom 5 teams. It's just not smart, not worth it for my money. And again, I'll be looking to fade the Eagles all year. You touched on it. They're missing a bunch of weapons, and this is a no pick for me, but I could see it being an ugly game, like you were saying, to take the under. But this is a no pick for me, so we'll just move on to the next one and save your money for this toilet bowl game.
All right, so this game, speaking of toilet bowl over here, we got Indy at Jacksonville. Indy's -7.5. The over-under is 45. The big additions for Indy is Taylor out of Wisconsin, who I really liked, a good, solid running back. Phil Rivers, who I'm not a fan of at all, that pretty much throws to the opposite team constantly, and he's just a hothead, and just isn't really that great. He's been playing the league for 1,000 years, but I just don't think he's that good. And wide receiver, they picked up Michael Pittman out of USC, big body wide receiver. Phil Rivers got all the weapons in the world on this team. I mean, there really shouldn't be any excuses. It's probably the best O-line that the Colts has ever had, especially since having Luck, where he just was getting hurt constantly. The O-line's actually good. And they picked up Xavier Rhodes, who was kind of fell off, but maybe a new scenery, he might do a little bit better. And T.Y. Hilton's there for him, and Zach Pascal. I mean, they got weapons. So am I a big fan of Phil Rivers? No. Jacksonville, they're just pretty much being makeshift at this point. Horrible O-line, horrible wide receiver core. They got rid of Fournette and Eifert from Cincinnati. Anything will be an upgrade at this point, and he has a good catch.
Basically, they gutted their whole team, basically.
Yeah, pretty much gutted their whole team. And when I'm looking at this game, I hate laying 8 points with Phil Rivers, but if I had to take this game, I'm still not crazy about this game, I would take the Colts -8 on the road. There's too many weapons on this team to not cover this, and I'm probably gonna regret it at the end of the day because it's Phil Rivers, and I'm expecting him to win by double digits on the road just to cover. So
am I getting your first like, or you're still on the fence on this one? Another one you probably
not yet. Still not a game I would be taking yet. So I'm just going through the board right now.
Okay. Basically, this is a game I actually do like. I actually love the Colts this year. I know you don't like Phillip Rivers, but I think with this, I know, with this offensive line, the Chargers, they just didn't know how to run that team. They would basically get 3 yards of carry. They never had a run game. All he did was just have to drop back nonstop, throw the ball. It's kind of like how Baker was last year. Now that they actually have a run game, they're going to have a 2-headed monster. Marlon Mack's going to start the season. But I see Jonathan Taylor. He's going to, as the season progresses, he's going to be getting more carries, and he should be taking that job over. But the teams are always, solid teams always have 2 great running backs. It's good to have the depth for the season. First week of the season, you always see this. There's that one blowout game. Like I said, the Jaguars, they literally got rid of their whole team. Remind me of the Dolphins. Remember the Dolphins the first 3 games of the season? The Cowboys literally got up to -21 versus them last year. I've never seen a line that high. It was ridiculous, especially against an average team like the Cowboys last year. Basically, yeah, the same thing. The Jaguars, they got rid of everybody. The Dolphins actually played better as the season went on because they actually had a new coach, so they're actually playing for their coach. These guys actually have Doug Marrone. He's a veteran coach. He's old. He's been around there way too long, and these guys are going to be so bad that I see him probably being the first coach getting fired this year. So this is actually going to be a blowout for me. So go with the Colts -8.
All right, we're going to move on here. The New York Jets at your Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. And what a spread it is. The Bills -6.5. The over-under is 39.
Does that spread jump out to you at all? Does that seem like a big spread to you with the Bills -6.5?
Yes. So the Bills -6.5. This is a game I do like. Josh Allen's been showing a lot of progression for the most part. They got Diggs. I really like Singletary as a running back from Florida Atlantic. He was an awesome running back. And Cole Beasley and John Brown's also solid. So they got weapons across the board for them. You could see big improvements with their O-line this year. And I will take the matchup anybody against Gase at this point. See, he's just a terrible coach, and coaching's so important in the NFL. So with this one, I actually do like this game. I would lay the 6.5 with the Buffalo Bills.
All right, I finally got a like out of you. That's what I like to see. That's what the fans like to see too.
Exactly. Not throwing garbage at you guys.
Yep, it looks like this will be our first agreement because I actually like this game too. And like you said, we both spotted right away this line looks big. That's why when we see games like that jump out to us, we actually look into these games to see what's going on. These guys split last year, but the last week of the season, the Bills lost. I believe they just sat all their players. The Jets they got rid of a lot of guys. Basically, they're going to be loading the box against Le'Veon Bell. They lost Robbie Anderson, who was actually their deep target. So they're not going to be able to really open up the field. Everything's going to be just a basic offense. This is basically a recipe for disaster as the Bills have a great defense. They're going to shut that down. The only weakness basically the Bills had was they basically didn't have any firepower on offense last year. They could barely average 20 points per game, but picking up, like you said, they picked up Diggs, which they needed to get basically some explosive plays. Singletary also he actually averaged 5.1 yards a carry. He got banged up last year, but when he was healthy, he was solid. They had Gore in there basically taking a lot of carries away from him, but now he's going to get a bigger load. And I see these guys, they're probably going to control this game. I could see it being very low scoring. I could see it being around 20-10, just an ugly game, but controlling the game the whole time. The Bills actually added Josh Norman on defense, too. I just saw that tonight. I didn't even notice that. So that's another defensive back for depth on their defense. I see this game being an easy win for the Bills. So this is our first agreement with the Bills -6.5 over the Jets. So we'll put that down. We'll see how that works out with our first agreement.
There you go.
The next one we got looks like it's the Dolphins at the Patriots. What do you got for that one?
All right, well, the line's -6.5 New England. The over-under is 43. I actually like the Dolphins here getting 6.5. This line seems really fishy to me for the most part. Typically, if New England would be home against the Dolphins, it would be a much higher spread. I think 6.5 is as low as possible as you could have it for a New England Pats game against the Miami Dolphins. Pretty much, the Pats defense has lost Hightower because of the COVID scare, because he's having a newborn coming. There's been guys been opting out for the Patriots. And I'm not too sure about Cam Newton anyway. It looks like he's going to be the starter for week 1. I don't know how good he's going to really be doing. Will he be running a lot? Will Belichick get the best out of him? I mean, he is one of the coaches that would probably get the best out of him, but is there really anything left in the tank for him? Probably not. And I know Fitzpatrick's going to start week 1. I love Tua. I felt like that was a great pick. Unbelievable value. So much talent. It's just you got to watch out for his injuries. but Fitzpatrick, he's a covering machine. So if I'm getting 6.5 with a hungry Dolphins team, and I love Flores, I think he's a fantastic coach. He does so much with so little. And also, they added Jordan Howard, who I love running the ball. He was great for the Eagles. He's a good workhorse as well. He's a guy that's going to take a lot of carries, a lot of pressure off. They also got the corner Byron Jones that they signed big for, and they got Kyle Van Noy and Matt Breida. They got some weapons on this team they put there finally with this coach that everyone likes playing for. And when it comes down to it, they should be pretty solid, the Dolphins. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think they're going to be. And I think the 6.5, I do like that, and I think they should cover that.
Okay. Yeah, the Dolphins they made a big splash, actually, in free agency, like you said. These are it's the first game of the season, and it's actually just something that just does not interest me, this division game. If I gun to my head, I would take the Dolphins, but just something about fading the Patriots here just scares me too, since I know it seems like the public does like the Dolphins here. Everyone sees that basically. I saw Hightower, he's out, he opted out, and Patrick Chung, safety, he opted out. You just don't know what Cam Newton's going to do, right? That's what scares me. The Fitz magic, I don't see there being Fitz magic this year whenever it's a second year with the same team. I think this happened with the Jets a little while back when everyone was pissed they actually re-signed them the next year, and they didn't. Mm-hmm. They had a great season the first year. The second season, I think they won 7 or 8 games, missed the playoffs, and everyone knew that was going to happen. I see Tua coming in during the season at some point. That's why I don't see him doing as well this year. I think he's going to have some ugly games, and that's what worries me. At Patriots, I don't know if he's going to have an ugly game here, but again, I'm just rambling on about this game. This is something that just does not interest me. When I cap my games, I'm basically looking for negatives to help myself talk myself out of certain games. So definitely talk myself out of taking this game. I try to just avoid the bad teams, but you said the Dolphins, I do see them improving, but they played so hard last year. I just don't know what they're going to do this year. So, and I saw Devontae Parker is actually banged up, so that kind of worries me on offense if he is out. So I definitely would like to see him in the game if I were to even go the Dolphins route here, but I'm going to skip this game and definitely got a like from Chris, though. You like the Dolphins at +6.5.
I just feel like this game itself is that classic backdoor cover game that they could be down like 2 touchdowns or down like 10 points or something, and Fitzpatrick's just rallying the troops to get that whatever touchdown at the end of the game. I've seen him do it plenty of times, so I feel like it's always in the back pocket for this kind of game here. So I feel like that's an edge that you can use for it. But, it is kind of – you're taking a bad team, but I think in this spot specifically, I think it's a good spot for them.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a good spot for a dog.
All right, next game we got is the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are -3, over-under is 44. What do you got for me, Russ?
For this game, it looks like the Lions got swept last year. This team is actually a lot better than what people are expecting here. They were actually close to actually going 5-0 to start the season last year. I remember having them against the Chiefs. They covered for me. But basically the Chiefs won on the last play of the game. That was probably the 4th or 5th game of the season. The first game of the season, they actually were up big against the Cardinals, and then the Cardinals came storming back and actually tied the game. There was another game, who did they play early in the season? It was the Packers Monday Night Football game. There was actually controversy at the end of the game with some bad calls, hands to the face, but it was actually in the shoulder pads. But the ref cost them that game, and that was just some more luck that the Packers had last year. But this division, I see it's just going to be scattered. The Bears, they're a mess. They're one of the teams I'm actually going to avoid this year. They actually lost a bunch of guys. Safety, Clinton Dix, cornerback, Prince Amukamara, and just saw recently defensive tackle Eddie Goldman. He's been with them for a little while, plugging up the defensive tackle there. So missing him, and the Lions actually look to be better to me with the draft of Swift at running back, Hawkinson at tight end. They got weapons of galore. Galladay is a stud. He's a top 10 receiver. Stafford just got hurt. They were actually three. They ended up going 3-4. They got unlucky in those close games, but playing a team who is on the same level as them. But now that I see all these injuries and what is it, Montgomery's out, the running back for the Bears. This is an actual light game, as it's actually a double revenge game for the Lions, who are going to want this game bad, playing a beat-up Bears team. So give me the Lions -3 all day here.
Yeah, you brought up some good points about the Bears as far as missing some guys on defense. I'm not as down as you are with the Bears. I'm still shocked that Trubisky's going to be the week 1 starter. I don't know why that's happening. I guess it's just like a Hail Mary, if you will, for this team, because why would you bring in Foles for like $25 million just for him to just hold a clipboard? It makes zero sense. I think he's going to get yanked. Maybe even this game, it could easily happen, and you could see some Nick Foles magic possibly. And if you're a Lions backer,
that spread jumped up to -3. I think it was because Trubisky was flying.
Yeah,
it was like Flacco last year on the Broncos. The odds to win the Super Bowl got worse when Flacco signed with the team. Vegas knew what they were doing, just like always.
Yep, absolutely. They don't build casinos on losers. I mean, on winners. That's for sure. So
people got to learn that.
When it comes down to that game,
do you like this game at all, or is this just something you're staying away from in this game?
Personally, I would want to stay away from this game. If I had to take something, I actually probably would go opposite on you on this. I would probably take the Bears in this spot. I still feel like their defense is still really strong. They won 7 games last year. I mean, they were with like Mitch Trubisky playing terrible. They still found ways to win with that defense. And I don't know if anyone really likes playing for that coach from the Lions. I don't think Patricia, like no one ever speaks highly of him. I think that can spread as for a team. And I mean, Nagy's not that great either. But I mean, as far as their defense goes, I think the Bears have. I would take the Bears personally here. So I would go against you on this one. But I would stay away from it. But that would probably be the team I would take if I had to take a team.
Mm-hmm. I know, it just looks too juicy to me. The Lions get swept by them last year, and then that +3 for the Bears just looks way too juicy. There's no sucker line like -2.5 or anything. That +3 just looks like too much value. And just to let people know, like value-wise, I don't like value basically in games. If I see games that are valued, that scares me basically. I try to find games where we're looking at what Vegas knows something, basically.
Absolutely.
But the NFL, crazy things happen, and you could always have the right side, but some weeks you'll get screwed. So.
No, I hear you. I feel like more in college football. I mean, coming off the side from the NFL, I always feel like college football lines are away for a reason, and they're usually stay more true when it comes to that with college football. NFL, I feel like it's more of like a loose cannon. I've been on times where, like you said, that like a -3, this looks fishy at taking the +3 at home, and then they end up getting killed by like 20 points. It'd be like the Patriots. I remember the Patriots played like the New York Jets, and they were like a 3.5-point favorite, the Patriots, and they ended up like winning by like 20-some points. I was like, how does this happen? But it's just, I feel like for college football, the lines stay more true. NFL, it goes back and forth a good amount because there's so much action on the NFL because it's the most popular bet sport. So I take it with a grain of salt with some of these lines. If I handicap them just like I did college football, I don't know if I would be as successful. But so you got to kind of look at it both different ways. So it's always something to consider.
Definitely.
All right, we're going to move on here. We're going to go to Seattle Seahawks at Atlanta Falcons. The line is -1.5 Seattle. The over/under is 49. What do you got, Russ?
For this game, Falcons are just one of those teams. I mean, they signed Todd Gurley in the offseason, but he just doesn't impress me. I don't like teams that are just doing the signings for offense when you were just terrible last year. I mean, this running back isn't going to change the fact that your offensive line is not blocking. big names running backs, they just don't impress me. You have to have the good offensive line. Matty Ice, they have the same weapons. They look good on paper all the time, and they just don't show up. But they're a team that they could win this game. You know, it's you have no clue. I mean, the Seahawks were a team that they had a lot of games where I saw they got lucky last year. I'm basically gonna find spots during the year to fade the Seahawks in certain situations, but this is a game both teams I just do not like. They're not on my radar this year, both of these teams, so I'm going to avoid this game.
All right. So if you had to take a side, what would you take if you had to take something?
If I were to take a side, I would.
Or you over under possibly? What are you looking at if you had to take something?
Yeah, I would have to just side with the Seahawks because I just don't trust the Falcons. But of course, if I would just pick a side, the Falcons would win. So that's just how the Falcons are.
Yeah, the Falcons are like the paper champions. They're like you said. There's a team that you like the back that has the talent, but they always disappoint. I'm not crazy about this game either. I mean, I love Wagner. I love the Jamal Adams signing by Seattle. I think Carroll is 100 times better coach than Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn's one of the worst coaches in the league. I think that's a big factor in this game. They love playing for party time Pete Carroll, if you will. So it's I think this team plays well for them. I know that their O-line and their D-line stinks for the Seahawks, but if I had to take something, I would also take Seattle, but I'm staying away from this game. It just smells trouble cross-country game. So, no thank you.
Yeah, no thank you on that one. So hopefully no one's betting that game.
Yeah, that's going to be
I'm sure there's going to be a ton of action on the Seahawks. That's why that is a scary game. That's one of those games where I wouldn't trust taking the Seahawks in that situation. So, next game, we got the Packers at Vikings.
Green Bay.
2.5. Basically, Packers 2-0. They swept the Vikings last year. These are, again, two teams that overachieved last year and basically just both not on my radar. They both, the Vikings lost Stefanski, their offensive coordinator, so they lost Diggs on offense. This line kind of scares me with only -2 now that it's only at -2.5. I hate those as a favorite. That's total sucker bet, -2.5 when you're betting. I just would not touch this. The Packers, though, just did nothing in the offseason. So this game's just going to be, I could see it coming down to basically who's going to win by a field goal at the end of the game. This is something that I just would not bet. Can't even give you an over-under. Have no clue what's going to happen in this game. Last year, I remember the games were nuts. 21-16, I think it came down to the last possession when they met up in week 2, and then they faced off late in the season where Vikings needed a big win, and they actually blew it. They lost 23-10. So if I'm seeing some regression from Cousins, I'm not going to trust this Vikings team. They lost a bunch of their defensive talent, but they also brought in a bunch of defensive talent. So there's a bunch of question marks to see how these guys are going to play with each other in week 1. The Packers, I mean, they lost their middle linebacker, but they didn't really lose a lot of players. So again, just the game I'm going to stay away from. Is there anything you like on this game, Chris?
Well, unlike you, I actually do really like this game a lot. I really like Minnesota here. You talked about the double revenge factor. I really think that's important to consider. I think Green Bay's going to get a lot of money on their side with Aaron Rodgers. This over-under on this team is 8.5 wins. It really says a lot about this team. I think you're going to be very disappointed with this Packers team. Minnesota with Cooks, I think as long as Cooks is ready to roll, anybody could run on this team. I could run on this team. It doesn't matter. Green Bay's run defense is atrocious. And I know they make big plays every so often, but it's very fugazi. 49ers exposed them with their run game for running for like 400 yards on them practically. And I'm not too down on Cousins. I think Cousins is still solid. Rudolph's good. Thielen, I still feel like it's their main weapon. He's their go-to guy for the most part. And they got Jefferson out of the draft, LSU guy, who the Eagles were eyeing for a while, and he was very mad he dropped down this far. He could be one of those, have a chip on his shoulder kind of guy and really show what he's made of. And Cousins definitely can sling it a little bit. I know he gets a lot of mixed reviews about things. I actually kind of like Cousins. -2.5. I think they're going to win the game anyway. So if I only have to win by a field goal, so be it. They're home. I love the Vikings here, so I'm rolling with the Vikings laying 2.5.
Nice. I like that.
All right, we're moving on. Las Vegas Raiders at the Carolina Panthers.
Wow. Las Vegas -3 at Panthers. I actually like this game. You're getting this at a -3. This is when you got to take advantage early in the season. Spreads like this later in the season, if the Raiders probably face the Panthers, you would go up to -6, something like that, because the team's just so bad. The season hasn't started yet, so no one has seen how bad the Panthers are actually going to be. They got the new head coach. I got a stat for you, actually. Teams with a new head coach in week 1 are actually 1-3 straight up in the last 2 years. So that's jumping out to me, and I'm getting this at -3, basically almost a pick-em type of game. Raiders, I love Josh Jacobs this year. He's going to be one of the top 5 in rushing yards. They should run all over this Panthers team, who are actually rebuilding. This game, I see just being an easy winner. So I actually like Las Vegas -3 at the Panthers.
All right, that sounds good. I actually love this game. I don't like it. I love this game. And I love the Raiders. Like you said, laying -3. You got to remember also, you didn't bring him also. Luke Kuechly, I believe, he retired. He's not on the team. That was the heart of that defense. When you lose a guy like that, it's going to show right away. And Matt Rule, typically his first year, we talked about last time on our last episode, first season is never too hot for him. It's the second season where he bounces back real strong and gets his culture and his coaching down and everything. He's a great coach, but his first years are usually pretty garbage. So I love the Raiders in this spot. I know it's cross-country favorites. I usually don't like those. But in this spot, I feel like a lot of people are down on the Raiders, and I think you're getting good value with them. And I would be more than happy to take it. I think there's going to be some Matt Rule love from some people because they think he can cover this game or even win this game. I disagree.
Yeah, there'd also be some Teddy Bridgewater love since he looks so good on the Saints.
Yeah, that's
It's
outrageous.
a different story on a good team, actually a great team, and a terrible team,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Get exposed a little bit.
That's actually our second agreement. So we agreed on the Bills and the Raiders. We'll check out the next game. What do we got? The Chargers -3.5 at the Bengals.
Yeah, Chargers -3.5. The over/under is 44. What's been going on with these teams? A lot of shakeup. Tyrod Taylor's taking over at QB. Eckler's going to be taking most of the runs now without Melvin Gordon. They got a really good pair of wide receivers. Hunter Henry's solid. The O-line could be an issue for this team, but I'm not too concerned about that for this game as far as the Bengals go. Their pass rush for the Chargers is absolutely amazing, which will be great against a rookie quarterback like Burrow. And the Bengals lost Eifert. AJ Green did get franchised, but is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be the same AJ Green we know of? That's going to be the real question mark. They could have a solid secondary, but the linebackers absolutely stink on the Bengals. So they should be able to run the ball well with Eckler there. I love the Chargers -3.5 in this game. I think you're getting a great spot with a rookie quarterback. His first game, he has to go against a very good secondary. This is an NFL team. He has not faced an NFL team yet. You know he shredded up college. He was taking like basket weaving and pretty much just playing football the whole time. He graduated and was taking like graduate basket weaving just to be like still an LSU Tiger. So he pretty much was working like a professional at LSU, but he was also going against college players. Now he's playing with the big boys. This Chargers team is hungry. They're solid. Tyrod is a game manager. He won't really ruin a game for you per se, turnover-wise, but I think the 3.5. I think you're getting. I know once again another cross-country game practically, but this is just how the lines are working out. I love the Chargers -3.5. I'll go against a rookie quarterback any day of the week at this spot.
Yeah, that's actually a smart pick right there. It's a game that I'm not going to risk my money. It's something that I'm not going to pick for this one. But I do agree with you. I feel like the public is just loving this Joe Burrow plus 3.5. I feel like the public's going to be all over that side. Chargers, I would say, is the smart play in this game. Both, I mean, the Bengals, you got the great franchise quarterback coming in, but your offensive line is still terrible. That doesn't change anything. So, I mean, could they get up for this game? I don't know. I think the Chargers are a little mad from last year. They had a terrible season last year. They got hit with a ton of injuries. And again, that defense is pretty loaded. They have always had a good defense. They just had no running game. They couldn't get a running game going. They were throwing the ball every time. Just, again, terrible coaching on that side as well. But most likely, if they can get a run game going, which I do see against the Bengals, but again, this is kind of just a game that doesn't do it for me. I'm not going to touch this game. I'll let you put your money on this game, though.
No problem. We will. You're welcome. And I'll enjoy it at the cashing my tickets. So we'll be good to go.
I'll be rooting for you.
All right, we're going to Arizona at San Francisco. San Fran is -7. The over/under is 47. Russ, what do you got for me?
This game looks like the 49ers swept them last year, 2-0. These games were actually competitive, though, and this was a 49ers team that was on a high last year. Everything was going their way. I actually was expecting the Niners to be good last year, but they did get into situations where I just don't trust them when they are going to be a favorite this year. I mean, I always go look off the last year, and teams don't play as well the next year, especially I see Deebo Samuel. He's actually looks like he's banged up. He's probably not going to play week 1. Kyler Murray, he's ready to step up. They had a bunch of huge pickups in the offseason. DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not so much impressed with the DeAndre Hopkins pickup. I mean, he's one of the best players, wide receivers, but I go by just the defensive pickups that these guys got, which will help them out. Division game, the Cardinals are coming up. You're giving me plus, 7 in this game. I'll take the Cardinals all day with the 49ers. 49ers, I could just see playing an ugly game. Deebo Samuel, he's one of their big play guys. It's very tough to win by double digits in the NFL. And the Cardinals are up and coming. I do not see a blowout type of game in the double digits. I do like the Cardinals to keep this competitive. I could see them losing by 4 to 6 points, keeping it within the number. So this is actually going to be a like for me on the Cardinals.
Nice. I'm on the same boat with you as well. I also really like this game +7 with the Arizona Cardinals. I think they actually have a shot to win this game outright. I wouldn't be shocked by it. I think Kyler Murray in his second year, I know it's usually a make or break kind of year for these guys because you get a lot of footage on them and everything. But I think Murray's got something with his scrambling ability and extending plays, and he's got a nice little arm to him too. And this offense is really solid. I know it's going to come down to Phillips playing really well for the defensive line, and let's see how Simmons does his first game. But I think he's going to not skip a beat at all in the NFL. He was unbelievable in college at Clemson. I love the Cardinals +7 here, and I wouldn't be shocked if they won this game outright because I'm not a big believer in Jimmy G. I backed him a little bit last year, but then he just really showed me that he hasn't been able to make those big throws. He's got a lot of big weapons now on the wideout spot, and especially with Kittle, he's getting paid and everything. So are they going to try and pass the ball with them and try and prove something to me that Jimmy G can actually play in this league for a long time? I don't know. I'll take Kyler Murray, getting +7, and possibly win this game outright.
Yeah, the Cardinals are a team I like them in this spot. I just feel people think they're going to be great this year. I just think that they're most likely going to win just 7 to 8 games. I mean, last year they were supposed to be, what would they win 5 or 6 games last year? Would they win 5, I think? I just see them improving, their second year improving. I think next year is where they're really going to make some moves. This division is just too good. The 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams, all these teams I just see beating up on each other. This is probably going to be the best division. I mean, everyone's down on the Rams, but they still got talented players, and they're good enough to go 8-8, and these teams are going to beat up on each other. So again, you like the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals. I just like them in this spot because the 49ers, I'm down on them. I just don't see them having any explosive plays or anything in this game to take advantage of the Cardinals defense. So both like the Cardinals. We'll move on to the next game, Bucks at the Saints. And the Saints are -3.5. Looks like the line just keeps dropping because I like those Bucks. Basically, the Saints swept them last year, but this is a completely different team with the Bucks. We got Tom Brady now. I talked about it in our last show about the turnovers. They had a ton of turnovers with Winston, and now they got Brady coming in, who actually doesn't turn the ball over. It's going to be a huge swing. You're going to see them actually huge weapons at wide receiver. Tom Brady's going to be at his disposal with this team. They want to make a statement in this first game. You know, Tom, as an underdog as well, I don't have it off the top of my head here what his record is, but I know he has a great record as an underdog. I'll take him in this spot all day. Statement game to start the season to show who is the actual better team in the division. Who do you like on this one?
This is a tough one for me. It's always good to take Tom Brady as a dog. Typically, he usually feeds off of it pretty well. This team has weapons galore for him for the most part. I'm personally staying away from this game. A lot of people, this is probably the most bet game probably of the week just because of the firepower of these two teams. And 3.5 with the Saints is such like a number. I feel like it's like they want you to take the Bucks so bad, but will the Saints blow them out? Like, I don't know. I don't think they will, but I just don't get a good feel on this game. The over-under 49, if I had to take something, I would take the over just because I think Tom Brady's going to be going guns blazing with all these weapons with Mike Evans and everything. And you know how Breeze is at in the Dome. He's always scoring. So I'm personally staying away from this game. I'll let you put your money on the Bucks, Tampa Bay, if you will. You'll be more than happy to take that. I'll sit on the sidelines for this
on these guys all season. Don't worry. You want to give me points with these guys? I'll take it all day.
All right, we're going to move on now. We're going to go to the Dallas Cowboys at the Los Angeles Rams. The line is -3. Cowboys over under 52. What do you got for me, Russ?
Oh, wow. It moved to -3. I didn't see that. Yeah, this is a game. I don't know. I just don't like. The Rams actually got blown out by the Cowboys last year, 21-44. I basically usually love teams in these blowout, embarrassed situations, but the Rams are just a team. I don't know what they're going to do this year. I got to see what they do to start the season. I don't know. They're a team where their run game, if they get going, they're going to look good. Cowboys are a team that I don't see them really blowing them out. So -3. It's just a bad number to me. I just do not like it. I'm not trusting the Cowboys to blow these guys out again, as the Rams are going to be pissed. They have most of the same guys returning from that game. These guys they're professionals. They don't forget about this. I could see the Rams winning this game, but I do love the Cowboys throughout the season this year. It just seems like they might just have a bump in the road the first game of the season and then just get going throughout this. Their schedule's just easy. They're just going to run through their schedule this year. But this game in particular, the situation, again, guys, we're going to bet situations that we like week to week. Teams could be better than other teams, but it's all about just picking your spots and what teams to pick each week. So I'm going to lay off of this game. Do you like anything for this?
No, I personally don't either. Sunday night game. It looks like it's going to be a pretty crazy, fun, exciting game. It's going to be an awesome game to watch, I feel like. There's going to be points. We'll go over 52 points. That's a lot of points to go over. But I'm personally also staying away from this game. If I had to take something, yes, I would probably take the Rams with the points just because it's a good spot for them at this point, getting points at home, which they usually get on a Sunday night game.
That's what scares me, the juiciness of that line. Like I said, I don't like getting value like that. It just looks like way too much value on the Rams there. That's just jumping out to me. -3 just seems like a lot for the Cowboys. So if you're going based off the number, Cowboys are the play looking at the number, but we don't like this game, and that's why we're going the sucker route, saying, oh, take the Rams +3. But again, that's why it's a game that we just do not like at all. So
Yeah, we're just giving an opinion on it for the most part. It's just nothing we really like.
yeah, we've been betting a lot.
Guns to our head, what are we gonna take? That's what it would be, but nothing
Yeah.
really that great there.
We've been betting a long time, and we've learned our lesson: what games to stay away from, and what looks way too easy never comes true. So this is one of those games that we're just going to avoid. The next game, we got the Steelers at the Giants. I'm just going to go first because this is actually another game that I just do not like. Steelers are improved. The Giants, their the team is always in trouble. I mean, the Giants are always a mess these past years. But they did bring in Judge, and I feel like these guys are a little bit excited. I could see them coming close in this game just because the Steelers, what do they always do? They, especially Big Ben, he always plays to his competition. It's going to be a night game, right? This is Sunday Night Football, I believe. Yeah.
It's the first game of the Monday night doubleheader.
First Monday Night Football game, gotcha. Yeah, night game, I just don't trust it. The Giants, I could see them. I could just see this being an ugly game. I would go with the under here. Probably like a 20-17 type of game. It's a game I'm not touching, but I could just see this being an ugly type of game. Or I could be wrong and it'd be a huge blowout. But again, that's why I am just not touching this game. But what do you like for this one?
I actually do love this game. Call it what you will. I love the Steelers in this game. The line started originally around 4.5. It's up to 5.5 now. I still would take it to 5.5. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. He probably should have won Coach of the Year, like I said on the last episode. He coached with no quarterback. The defense was playing amazing. Minka Fitzpatrick was fantastic. Watt was great for him. And Big Ben, he's finally healthy. He's going to grip it and rip it. Juju Smith's in his contract year. I think you get a lot of experience with this team. You don't have experience with the Giants. I think that'll hurt them. Daniel Jones always gets a pick or two at key moments, especially for covers for the other team. I love the Steelers here minus 5.5, and I'll be more than happy to take them at this number.
Yeah. I just don't know what the Steelers are going to do. The defense, of course, is a great defense. It's all about Big Ben. Big Ben is my question mark. I just don't know what Big Ben is going to show up. The one that just likes to score when there's 2 minutes left in the first half, just throws touchdowns. But I could easily see the Steelers, though. If they control the game with the run game, then I can see an easy blowout for the Steelers. But there's just something about the Giants this year. I can see them actually being a team that's going to play hard for their coach and try to keep games close. But I'm not putting any confidence in that. It's one of the bad teams that I'm just not going to take. So that's a game that I'm laying off. But Chris, you do like the Steelers. Last game, Monday Night Football. Who do you like in this one?
Well, this one, unfortunately, I wish I had a team I really liked in this game. I'm completely staying away from this game. It started at a pick'em. Now it's minus 2.5 Titans at this point. The over-under is 41. I could see this game perfectly being a low-scoring game with the over/under being 41. It might even snow. Who knows what's going on? It's like 94 one day. Now it's going to snow there. It's going to get all crazy there for the most part. If I had to take something, I guess I would take the Titans just based on their run game and Tannehill not really making too many mistakes. I really do like Drew Lock a lot. I think he has potential of being really good. And at this point, I don't know. Is it a fluke? I don't think it is. I think he does bring something to the table. When he was at Missouri, he did just sling it a lot, and I felt like that was really good. And it's showing a little bit and being 4-1 as a starter. So I like Tennessee laying the 2.5. Well, actually, if I had to take something, I would take minus 2.5. I don't like the game, but if you had to take something, you wanted to take action on it. Titans minus 2.5 and the under 41. But besides that, I'll just be watching from the sidelines.
Okay. This is actually a game I do like. Second year for Nick Fangio. Last year, I was expecting this team to be better, and they basically, when I saw they signed Flacco, I'm like, I have no clue. They had Drew Lock. I'm like, why are these guys signing Flacco? But looked like they were just giving up on the year already by signing him because he's basically done for. I'm sure you know that. basically they had a good pickup, Melvin Gordon. They drafted Jerry Jeudy. They got weapons on offense. Philip Lindsay, he's fast coming out of the backfield. He catches those screen passes. These guys do have the weapons. I love this team as a team that's going to be improved. And Tennessee, they're a team that they just had their nice little fun run at the end of the season last year, facing banged up Texans. They took advantage of what the Raiders late in the season. They blew them out because they were missing Josh Jacobs. They're just one of those teams that get lucky. Things go their way at the end of the year. The Patriots, they beat the Patriots in the playoffs, but let's be honest, the Patriots, we saw they were starting to fall apart at the end of the year. I mean, they lost -17 spread versus the Dolphins at the end of the season. So the Patriots couldn't score. This was a perfect matchup for the Titans last year versus the Patriots with their cornerbacks. They have stud cornerbacks, but they actually lost Logan Ryan in the offseason. So losing that cornerback, that's what those guys were known for. The Titans actually blew out the Browns the first game of the season, like 40-14, because they're getting interceptions all over the place. But I don't know. I just don't see the same Titans team this year. I love that this is a Monday night game. It's at Denver. I also want to add that Bradley Chubb, that was one of the other negatives last year. He went down out for the season right in the beginning of the year. So now you got him healthy with Von Miller. I love teams with probably top 5, top 10 pass rushers. All they got to do is get a little bit of a lead, and I can see this defense definitely having a great year this year. This is a team that's actually on my radar in some great spots when they are underdog. But I do like this game against the Titans, as they just do not do it for me. So that'll be my last like, is the Denver Broncos.
So yeah, those are our week 1 games. That's our breakdowns of all the games. Russ and I did agree on some games, and there's a couple we were kind of on different sides of. But
I think we had a couple likes that we agreed on. I think it was the Bills and the Raiders. That was pretty odd. We only had 2 likes that we agreed with. So that's how you get to be selective. So we'll see how those 2 games go. But definitely listen to our leans, who we did like for the games. Was there anything else that you wanted to add before we close out the show?
Yeah, just remember, be a bankroll savvy. That's very important. Don't bet all the games on the boards. Don't be betting parlays left and right. Be selective. And, if you want to throw like a couple bucks on just to have a good little Swiffer parlay, that's good. But don't put all your eggs in one basket with like a parlay or anything like that. Do your homework. Hopefully our work helped you out there to make a more educated decision. I think it will, whether you agreed on Russ's side or my side with some of the games. But I feel like we both bring something when it comes to handicapping games. And thanks again for listening. And remember, click on the bottom right corner to subscribe. That's very important. Tell everyone that you know. Subscribe to Tackle the Board. We're going to do this every week, breaking down the week's games. And we're not leaving anything out. We're tackling the board and making sure that you guys get all the info. And that'll do it for us. My name, Chris Euksuzian. You can find me at Chris E. Baum. I'm also on Instagram as well. And you can find Russ Reese at Vegas Line Reader on Twitter. And where else can they find you at?
Find me on Twitter. They can look at my website, vegaslinereader.com. And if they do want to contact me on Twitter, I do have some big moves that I will like this weekend. So these are leans in the games we do like. But if they want some of my heavy hitter games for the weekend that I love, they can contact me on Twitter at vegaslinereader. Other than that, though, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, and we're going to keep feeding you information every week with the injuries and giving you all kinds of reports. Leave comments below if you guys want. Let us know what you guys want to hear. We'll give you more information. Whatever you guys want to hear, we'll give to you. But mainly, we're going to give you, from our experience, the right way to win, as we've been betting for a very long time. So again, subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. That's about it, and that should close out our show. Hopefully we hit these games, guys. We got us started off the right way, and basically keep rolling throughout the season.
Yep, absolutely. Get ready, guys. Football's here. It's exciting. Let's feel alive, man. We're gonna get that cold weather soon. Get us ready for some football. I can't wait for these Sundays, Russ. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.